What would make a good pet? The most likely answer would be a dog or a cat, and for the most part, the ancient world agrees. But what about exotic pets? Today the answer would likely be various birds and reptiles. And in the ancient world? Well, birds may still cut it, but another relatively popular choice were monkeys. Among wealthy Romans, Barbary monkeys from Africa have been documented as companion animals alongside dogs and cats. But for a long time, these were thought to be the only species kept as pets. A recent study has now identified the first evidence of Indian monkeys in the Red Sea port of Berenike, where they were likely kept as pets by Roman centurions. The Romans have a long history with monkeys. Some of the earliest documented evidence dates to the second half of the 3rd century BC, when the Romans began coming into closer contact with lands they perceived as exotic, including northern Africa and parts of the eastern Mediterranean. As this contact grew, so did the Romans' interest in exotic animals, like monkeys, which could be displayed in victorious parades and kept as pets in the homes of the elite. According to written sources, a variety of monkeys were brought to Rome from Ethiopia, Nubia, and even India. In terms of archaeological evidence, however, all identified monkeys have been Barbary macaques. They have been found across the Roman Empire, from Pompeii to the Pyrenees, and all of them have been Barbary macaques. Before this discovery, there was absolutely no evidence that any monkeys were ever imported from India. So, what makes the Red Sea port of Berenike so special? During the 3rd century BC, the Ptolemies established a port at Berenike to help import African elephants for warfare. By 30 BC, the Romans had taken control of the trade in the far eastern and southern Arabian routes, and by the 1st century CE, Berenike had become a thriving hub. In 2011, archaeological excavations at the site shifted their focus to a rubbish dump in the northwestern edge of the site. As it turned out, the dump had a little secret, a burial ground dedicated to small animals. To date, almost 800 burials have been uncovered. The majority are cats, followed by dogs, and finally monkeys, making up 4.5% of all burials. The majority of these monkeys were one of two species of Indian macaques. The most numerous were rhesus macaques found across Asia from Afghanistan to China and India. 3 skeletons came from bonnet macaques, endemic to southern India, and 1 skeleton was a grivet, typically found in Eritrea, Sudan, and Ethiopia. All of the monkeys were female, and none had reached adult age, with many dying in the infant or juvenile stage of life. The grave goods they received were remarkable. Nearly 40% of buried monkeys had mortuary gifts. 1 young macaque was buried with amphora fragments containing pig remains, a cloth resembling a rag doll, a woven grass basket with a greasy substance, possibly for cosmetic or medical purposes, and 2 large shells from the Red Sea or Indian Ocean placed near its head. Another burial contained a rhesus monkey, red seashells, a broken tail likely used as a whip, a cat skeleton, and a young dog. The entire grave was sealed with broken amphora fragments. Meanwhile, the grivet monkey was found with a young kitten wrapped in its arms. 1 monkey wore an iron collar with a chain and had large pearl oyster shells placed by her head and had been wrapped in fine linen. Her grave was marked similarly to human graves. These burials tell us that to the ancient Romans these monkeys were valued pets. They were conferred an almost semi-human status, as seen in how similarly these primates were buried to humans. But how did they get there? Well, the macaques were likely captured and transported alive from India, which would have posed significant economic and logistical challenges. The burials at Berenike are the first unequivocal evidence of organization of non-human primates importation from beyond the Indian Ocean. An Indian macaque would have served not only as a companion, but as a marker of social status. An Indian macaque on a leash may have conferred exotic prestige, marking their owner as someone with extraordinary experience, connections, and access to distant lands. And yet, despite the apparent care with which they were buried, so many died before reaching adulthood. They showed no signs of being beaten, but they did have health issues. 2 individuals showed severe cranial bone lesions associated with malnutrition, likely caused by vitamin deficiencies from a poor diet. A diet which consisted of sorghum bread, dried figs, dates, and raw fish filled with parasites. While this diet would have been fine for humans, it did not provide the nutrients required by the monkeys. Another burial revealed evidence of attempted medical care, specifically resin, probably myrrh, known for healing properties, that was used to coat the monkey's feet. These soldiers clearly cared for their unusual companions, even if they didn't quite understand how to keep them healthy. This was Archaeology Tea House. If this video was your cup of tea, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to never miss a video.